Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, Giants fam? Welcome to the BBO NYG Podcast. I am Mike. That is John. Jules is not with us this week. Tough to do a podcast and tough to think about football, man. But after last night's game with, Lamar going down, I think everybody has seen that by now. Definitely a weird play. Just seems like a regular football play. Unfortunately, just got hit the wrong way in the chest. It's like, getting hit with like a baseball to your chest. You know what I mean? Sometimes it could just trigger cardiac arrest, and that's what it did. After that, just seeing him fall down, and it happened so quickly, nobody was able to catch him, and then he fell back and hit the back of his head, which contributed to that, of course. Doing CPR on the field, just something, John, I've never seen in my watching football ever. I mean, I've seen guys like Dennis Byrd get paralyzed. Most recently we've seen Antonio Brown go against Cincinnati, with Vontae Burfict and just get nailed in the head. I thought his head was going to fall off. So you see some vicious hits and, broken bones, Nick Gates' leg. You see all these kind of injuries. But to see that kind of shit last night, I was shook. Thoughts and prayers for obviously his family. Everybody's praying for him. Everybody was just, waiting this morning to get like good news on social media saying he's up, he's walking around, he's okay. But so far we did get good news right before we came on here on Tuesday that he was sedated and got the tube down his throat to help him 100% breathing, but now he's down to 50% breathing, which is actually really good news because that helps with like his brain function. So just keep the prayers going, man, and hopefully hopefully we see him, back, maybe walking up to the coin toss on Buffalo Bills' first playoff game at home. I think that will get the crowd absolutely insane. And also for the Bengals, for the people that worked on him, for those 9 minutes doing CPR, getting the ambulance, getting him to the hospital, and for those people that were at the stadium to, really respond so quick, they deserve a shout out too, man. And T. Higgins deserves a shout out too, because obviously he's just playing football, man. He's obviously very distraught over that too. So, man, get well soon, man. Get back, and hopefully he's back just living a normal life.
Yeah, man, that's just it puts you into perspective. You get kind of almost, I don't want to say jaded or I don't know what word I'm looking for. I'm not even going to try. When it comes to football injuries, torn ACLs, concussions, you kind of just get, callous to them and almost, in some instances blame the players and like, oh, you're injury prone, you can't ever get on the field, this, and that. And we forget that these are real human beings. And when something like this happens, as rare as it is, it's where kind of football now encroaches onto real life. Like the whole toy store analogy that Michael K likes to use, like, in the real world, sports means absolutely nothing, which is 100% true. It's just pure entertainment. Yeah. And then when you see something like that, like, guys sign up. When you sign up for sports, especially football, you sign up for the broken bones. You sign up for torn soft tissue. You sign up for all these concussions and all that stuff. But when you get something like that where it was almost like, fucking death just touched this guy on the shoulder, bro. Like he just stood up and just fucking fell down. It was scary. Like my fiance's like, oh, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. I was like, but I don't want to fucking watch this and sit here and just fucking like, I was like, let's just focus on something else. News will come out. Nothing we can do about it. But this is fucking stomach turning. Like to see a guy 24 years old, as athletic a human being as you can possibly be, it just goes to show, man, you got to make sure that, each and every single day of your life, you're doing something that's going to make you smile. And you got to find a way to maximize the time you have here. Cause it doesn't matter what you do. You can be, eating all the organic bullshit and fucking staying away from this and staying away from that and exercising 4 hours a day. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. When it's your time, it's your time. and you never know what fucking tomorrow holds. So make sure you enjoy today, bro. That's really all I gotta say on that. It's sad.
It was just one thing to see is like how the whole Buffalo team surrounded him like a wall, like a circle, so the cameras couldn't get in there and see him
Yeah,
get like worked on. I thought that was pretty awesome of the team to even have the brain,
yeah, wherewithal.
thought process to the wherewithal to actually do that. So shout out to them. Shout out to Stefan Diggs, who didn't fly home with with most of the Bills. He was one of them that stayed, went to the hospital, took an Uber from the stadium to the hospital just to be there with his teammate. And also shout out to the toy. They had a toy. He had a toy drive, and it was a GoFundMe that was organized by
Saw
DeMar
this.
Hamlin. And dude, he had like $12,000 in it, like before the injury. So if there's something good to happen out of this, dude, he is probably close to like $5 million to raise for this
Whoa! I
fucking
saw this
toy
morning
thing.
it was like 2 million, bro. Now it's up to 5.
It's crazy. It's a GoFundMe. It's real easy to. So if anybody just wants to donate or just feel like they want to do something, I mean that's pretty nice. So hopefully, like he gets well soon, and he can wake up to actually good news that
Yeah,
it wasn't all for nothing. You know what I mean? He definitely helped a lot of kids and definitely changed a lot of lives. So get well
the
soon.
internet
Get
is
well soon.
yeah, the internet is definitely one of the this generation of human beings, blessing and curse. And it's easy to find the bad things about the internet, but stuff like that, what other time in history could, in a 24-hour span, people donate from all over the world to the tune of $5 million to whatever the particular cause is that this guy is interested in? Like, that's something that just would never have happened, maybe even 5-10 years ago. Um, it's nice to see human beings be human beings, bro. There's so much division and there's so much fucking hatred in this world. So stuff like that, I think, unifies us. Sports unifies us as well as divide us. But on the whole, it does unify us. And when you see something like that happen, and then you see the response from football fans and sports fans in general throughout the entire country and world, $5 million is not nothing, bro. If
Yeah,
you're
right.
running a charity and that's actually going to a good cause, and it's to get toys and whatever for little kids, that's going to go a long way, bro. Not to say that it's worth what happened to him. I mean, he literally died. Like, you don't give
Yeah,
CPR to
right.
somebody whose fucking heart, they're breathing. Like, it means you
Right.
died, and they resuscitated him. So, I mean, just prayers to him and his family, bro. It's sad. It sucks, and it just kind of, like I said, puts things in perspective for you for your life. But I don't know if you want to keep going on with this. I'm ready to
A little
fucking talk
bit.
about our G-Man, bro. We got some positive stuff to talk about right now.
Yeah, we just had it's just overwhelming compassion I seen on social media yesterday about it. There was some things that people got offended by, Skip Bayless, Bart Scott, for people that, want to go down that road and hear what I got to say about that. I'm going to have a big conversation with Nick on the Mix It Up podcast on Monday of next week. And we're going to really go into the details about both of them, what they meant, the mob, the people that got so offended that kept attacking Skip over it, when you probably should put more of your energy into just like praying for the kid and hopefully he's all right. And, football comes second or last or whatever you want to call it. But we'll get into that like on the Mix It Up, and we'll go into more details. But, speaking of compassion, I just want to get, one thing about we're going to talk about the Giants, but there's one story I heard that came out today. I think Erin Andrews, she was talking to Brian Dable, head coach of the New York Giants, and she was just saying how he came in and kind of changed the culture. He comes in every morning and sits down with the groundskeeper, because his grandfather was a groundskeeper. So he always goes there and hangs out with them. He goes around talking to the lunch crew, the cafeteria people. He says he makes sure to says hi to everybody, because if somebody goes to him and they say hi and he don't say hi back, he realizes that could affect their whole day. And I mean, just what he's done to change that atmosphere in that building, and to have everybody like rallying around. And I mean, you see in the video with Jones coming off the field with Dable just looking at him, smiling. I mean, man, we definitely, it took a while. I mean, I think it was really worth the wait, because we really hit gold with this head coach.
There's no question about it, man. this guy's come in, and we've been duped before, bro. Every single one of us. I don't care who you are. You thought Joe Judge was going to be the answer.
Yep.
We thought Pat Shurmur was going to be a big deal because of his offensive coordinator, whatchamacallit,
Background.
prowess, I guess you can say, and his offense that he had ran with Case Keenum and all that shit in Minnesota and all that stuff going on with that.
Yep.
And Ben McAdoo, we couldn't let him go to Philadelphia because look how good Eli and the offense were the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been duped before, but there's just something about this guy's energy, about his aura, just the way he kind of carries himself that just feels genuine, and it feels like this isn't a show. This isn't like, yeah, I got to do this. I got to check this box, and I got to check this box, that box. It's just there's a good dude who knows fucking football, and he knows how to motivate men, and that's just what you're seeing in real time right now. He's been a blessing for this organization basically from the first moment that he got hired, and I don't know that you can argue any player on this team, maybe other than Kenny Galladay and fucking Kadarius Toney and maybe a couple other guys who aren't having good seasons. Every single one of these players, Saquon, Andrew Thomas, Daniel motherfucker Jones, every one of them is having excellent seasons. You can see it in their post-game interviews, their weekly interviews with the press conference. You just see a different energy about them. This guy Brian Daboll, man, he has been a fucking blessing for this organization, and we deserve it because we've been through some shit beforehand.
He really had this team motivated on Sunday, boy. Let me tell you, they came out.
Man, did he ever? And
they just absolutely dominated. To see Daniel Jones's performance, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 running touchdowns, to hear him get the ovation that he deserves since he's got here, because he's been through some shit. He's been through some injury-plagued seasons. Even this year with the wide receiver group just going down, he deserved that standing ovation. I'm glad he got it. I'm glad the fans there that recognize that. I'm glad that I've seen some people on social media that were bashing Daniel Jones, and trust me, I'm going to quote tweet a lot more of these guys. Once I hear DeMar getting back to being healthy and positive, I'm going to go back into quote tweeting them and try to get them to come around if they haven't already. But of course, there were some people that still thinks he sucks, which is absolutely amazing. That it's you just got to get off that hill you're on. If you can't believe now, then you have nothing to believe in your life. Like, get over that fact that you're wrong. Okay. Everybody's wrong in life. Like John said, we were wrong on the coaches. We were wrong, especially me. I love Joe Judge. I thought I was about to get Joe Judge t-shirts. So just come around, man. If you can't come around now, then I don't know you're just a Daniel Jones hater, and you always will be. Just get off that stick, man. That's it.
I'd bet that they're not limited to Daniel Jones haters. This is probably just what their personality is. They hate everything.
Barkley. Besides life. Besides life, you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about Giants specifically. I mean, like, they hate the gas station attendant that they fucking have to deal with. They hate the fucking lunch lady in their school. They hate fucking their wife. They hate their dog. They hate their dick. Like, they hate everything.
They hate
their loose
Nestle
shits
Quick.
that have to take 3 times. Like, they hate everything. So fucking, I mean, listen, man, me and you especially, I don't, maybe a couple of other fucking Giants content creators like have had Jones's back since day one, and I know me and you definitely, we've been fucking captains of the Daniel Jones fucking brigade.
Whatever.
And to be in the stadium on Sunday and see him just eviscerate the Colts the way he did. I mean, it was. I texted in the group chat. It was a party. After Landon Collins got that pick 6, and it was 21-3. Like, every one of those 80,000 people in that stadium were like, "Oh yeah, it's fucking on. Let's go!" And it was just chanting and this and this and that. And you see Jones running, and even, I mean, they're up 3 touchdowns, and he's running fucking full steam, lowering his shoulder into defenders, stiff arming defenders, and it's like, bro, how could you watch this guy? Not even just be a fan of the Giants, just watch this guy as a football fan and not say this motherfucker's got it, bro. This guy's got.
He's done it all year.
He's done it his entire career. But you wanted to say this year, you wanted to say the last couple weeks, whatever it is that's going to make you feel comfortable about whatever. No, not you specifically, but
Yeah, I get you.
to have him, what Brian Dable did on the last drive of the game, letting him run 2 plays and then pulling him off the field the way they did to Eli Manning at his last game against the Dolphins, and having the stadium cheer Daniel Jones. Bro, I literally went home and I watched Gladiator. Like when they fucking start chanting Spaniard, I felt I was like, this is who this is. This is a guy who should have been revered because he was a top 10 pick. It was a top 6 pick, but he was fucking just chastised right from the fucking beginning.
Yeah.
And then clawed and fought his way up to now have a stadium of 80,000 people, most of which wanted him gone, chanting his name like a fucking gladiator in the Coliseum 2,000 years ago. Bro, I was almost choked up. Like I felt it like right in the bottom of my throat. I was like, I've been on this guy. I see what he's about. I'm not there in the mornings when he's the first guy, and I'm not there in the evenings when he's the last guy out. But I see how he plays on a football field, and I've seen him lower shoulders and knock over defensive tackles for 2-point conversions. And I know that it takes a special type of human being that even in a lost season, or even if you're up, you do that shit. That's going to revere you to every single one of your teammates. And in a city like this, where we're instantly looking to give up on somebody and run him out of town because that's the cool thing to do, when you got a guy like that, bro, I don't care what it takes, man. You make sure that man retires a fucking Giant in the 2030s at some point, bro. And it just felt so good to sit there and like that vindication. I fucking told all you motherfuckers for 4 years now. I told all of you.
Vindication.
I told all of you, and now you fucking see it.
Vindication. That's the title, man. Make sure you write that down. Yeah, like over the past couple of years, I know like we talked a little bit about it too. Like, people, just the common like fan that just watch the game, they see how, Jones, like, oh, he sucks, he fumbled, he threw another pick. But I'm like, you don't understand. Like when he was playing in these injury plagued seasons, I seen the fight in him. We seen the fight in him. We seen him trying to do anything he can do to win these shitty games with all these backup guys that were in there on the offensive line as wide receivers. It was just like him like throwing an interception or fumbling was because he was trying to hold on to the ball as long as he can for something to happen in these shitty offenses and shitty injury plagued years. So we noticed that fight in him, and I'm glad now we're starting to see it. Obviously, vindication, seeing him perform the way he does, because he deserves it. And that's what New York is all about. Blue collar workers, man. And he's one of them. There's no doubt in my mind he gets re-signed. No doubt in my mind Barkley gets signed. They were the heart of this team this year. They continue to be the heart. It looks like we're going to play Minnesota in the playoffs. So we're going to have that rematch. And Minnesota lost 2 offensive linemen last game. So that's a huge problem with them when you got to go against Tibbs, who's just sacking guys and literally doing snow dances next to him when guys are just fucking. He's like, my ribs are broke, and this dude just doing the snowflake dance. It's just man, that was a sight to see. Let me tell you, I know he knows he didn't think he was hurt. He didn't realize. He was so excited for the play. He's doing his little dance. Let him have it. Don't be a little bitch about it. I thought that was fucking, like, I was laughing. I thought that was the funniest shit I've fucking seen, man.
Oh, it was fucking hysterical, bro. And you're sitting in the stands, and I was sitting in section 201, which is
nice.
Looking at on the left-hand side. You're sitting in the end zone. It's basically like a broadcast view in a sense. Like you're just looking straight down the field. Yep. And you just see on the right side 3 guys basically go unblocked, and Kayvon just run through him like it was fucking NFL blitz back in the 90s or early 2000s, whenever that game was out. Yeah, it was probably like late 90s, 96 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just saw him just mollywop this guy, bro. He just is on the ground, and then you see like through the player's legs that are around him. It's fucking hysterical.
to see him make that hit, you see him like pretty much every week throughout the whole year. He kept getting better and better, and he just knew that progress was coming. Now he's just like, he's playing like at elite levels right now, which is fucking scary for other teams. And just exactly for the same point with Daniel Jones. Like, don't forget, Daniel Jones, this is his first year in the new system. So if you notice, week to week, he started picking up more. They started doing more plays. He started seeing the field better, knows where these guys are. Obviously, Isaiah Hodgkins been a huge addition to the wide receiver room. Richie James had a big day. He didn't have any dropsies. So it looks like he was. I was happy for him because he gets a lot of shit, not even just for me, for other people too. It would have been nice to have Kenny Galladay do something instead of being out there for 7 plays, but that's a whole nother conversation for Jules whenever he gets back on the podcast. But I was happy for these guys, man. They really played, even when Daniel Jones kind of got the forearm a little bit to the head on the slide. Yeah. You seen guys like Feliciano run over there, Bredesen, they were ready to brawl. So, I mean, how can you not love this team, man? They're a young team. They're going to be good for a long time, guys. I'm telling you.
The biggest thing in the NFL, man, is making sure you have that quarterback. That's your best. That's how to increase your odds to the maximum to be a competitive team year in and year out, regardless of the pieces around it. And when you watch a guy like Daniel Jones play, and he's running, lowering his shoulders, stiff arming guys, outrunning linebackers and safeties, fucking throwing the ball with just as pinpoint accuracy. Sure, sometimes the ball a little bit behind the guys. And when we say a little bit behind the guys, we don't mean the guys have to turn around and catch the ball. It means it's not hitting them right here. It's hitting them right here. So if you're throwing it into a garbage can, that ball's still going in the garbage can. You're throwing the balls not to 6-year-olds and fucking peewee. You're throwing it to NFL wide receivers. They should be able to catch all those balls. When you watch other team wide receivers and make ridiculous catches, when was the last time one of our receivers was on a fucking ESPN top 10 catch?
I don't remember.
Odell was here.
Yeah,
you never see our receivers making spectacular plays. That means the quarterback has to do it, and he has 3 different receivers who have an over 80% completion percentage when thrown to, which is basically a god level fucking statistic right there. That just doesn't happen, bro. 60 is good. 65, yeah, right. 70 is really good. When you're in the 80s, you're in the elite club, and he's got 3 different receivers, and that doesn't include Sterling Shepard, who for his career is like 83% with Daniel Jones. So you gotta think this guy is being able to put the ball where the receivers can catch it, basically play in and play out. He's at the highest completion percentage of his whatchamacallit. And when you have a guy like that, bro, that's how you sustain success for 5, 8, 10, 12 years, bro. This kid's 25 years old, about to get a contract. Right? Is probably going to be playing football into the year 2030, 2032 as our guy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That's what I'm saying. Like the young team, I was even happy for Slayton, because I've noticed Slayton over the past few games, his yak yards, yards after the catch, has started to be very impressive. We need somebody like that, and he's stepping up. I was really happy for him too. So, I mean, just what a game. Dexter Lawrence. I mean, he just abused the guy that some people wanted as the number 2 pick back in the day. Pretty happy we got Barkley now. Don't you guys think? Can you get off that little mountaintop that you were on? Oh, we should have got Nelson. He's the best guard. We should have got this guy. We should have got him. But I tell you, man, to have Barkley, one of the best top running backs, and I know he's a little banged up. I think we're gonna take a quick commercial break now, John, and then we'll talk about. I'm gonna ask you. Listen, we're gonna talk about if the Giants should either rest guys or play him next week. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break on the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. We'll be right back. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG Podcast. I'm Mike. That's John. Jules is missing again. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, John. So the question is, before the break, I was like, there's a lot of debate going around. Do the Giants, now that they clinched, they can't move from the 6th spot. They can't go nowhere. They're playing the Eagles. The one thing if they do beat the Eagles and then another team where I think that if Dallas wins, Dallas gets the 1 spot. Philly drops down, has to play a wild card. So do you start your players and play that game and try to beat the Eagles on Sunday?
So there's 2 answers to this question. I don't know which one is right. If you look at it as an NFL fan, I think the opportunity, because these number 1 seeds, bro, they play for home field advantage and they play for that bye week, because it's basically an automatic W and you get the rest of players. It's right. A fucking a factor of 3 as far as like the good things that come out of being the number 1 seed. And where we are right now, we're almost a faux number 1 seed in the sense that you have the opportunity where there's nothing that can happen to your standings. There's literally nothing to gain out of the game. So you want to say, okay, let's use it as a bye week. Let's rest guys like Saquon, like Leonard Williams, like Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas. Let these guys get a breather. But as a Giants fan, having witnessed the 2007 conclusion against the 15-0 Patriots and seeing the Giants take them to the wire and come together as a team against what was at that time the best team in the league and the best team of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know the situation's that dramatic. It's not. I can't say that that's the case. But watching that game, watching the post game of that game, and then knowing the next 4 or 5 weeks what was to follow, I don't know how you don't look at that as a Giants fan and say, listen, man, I don't think that we're winning the Super Bowl this year, or I don't know we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. But in 2007, we took a team that was the fucking Mount Olympia of football teams, and we almost beat them in a game that we didn't need to play in at all. We could have sat. There was nothing to be gained. The same exact situation as it is this week with us with the Eagles. And Tom Coughlin said, no, we're going to go out and we're going to fucking play football. They went out and played football, and that gave that team, that galvanized that team, that forged that team into a champion. And then they knew that if they were ever to see them again, which they did, they knew that they could at least play with them, if not beat them outright. And David Tyree catch later, we're sitting here, and that was our third Lombardi trophy. And I don't want to say it led into the 2011 championship, but there is a case to be made that the confidence that happened in the 2007 season carried over with all those guys' careers, OC and Tuck and all those guys, and made them fucking champions for a second time. Who knows? All I'm saying is, as a Giants fan, it's very difficult to say, let's not take advantage of that opportunity of going out against a team that's in your division, who's had your number. For all the players on the team now, the Eagles have owned them their entire careers, all of them, Daniel Jones included. Fucking, they embarrassed you earlier this year, a few weeks ago. To go out there and say, you know what, let's fucking square up and see what happens. You know what, if the football gods say that we're going to get an injury, it is what it is. That's what's just meant to be. But as a Giants fan, I don't know how you say let's rest our players, and knowing that a win against the Eagles, especially if it's a big dramatic game and they're able to fucking pull out the W there, that momentum, that fucking forged in fire can't carry this team. Because listen, like you said, we're playing Minnesota most likely. There's a 91% statistical chance that we're going to be playing Minnesota, and then who knows where it goes from there. But the Giants are a hot team right now, man. I don't know anybody wants to play them, and you're going to be able to give us a fucking turbo boost going into the playoffs. I don't know. I think it's worth the risk of potential injury, and it's would be interesting to see in their first seasons together what Joe Shane and Brian Dable will decide to do. I'm really, really curious because they know the history here too. So it's be very interesting to see how that plays out. What do you think?
Momentum is a real thing. That's no doubt about it. I want the Giants to play these guys. I want them all to play. This is the best case scenario for me. Play the game. They're winning. If they're winning handily against them, I mean, I don't think that's possible. I don't really think the Eagles are going to blow them out either. Eagles got a lot of injuries on their front. Jalen Hurts is probably going to play, but his shoulder's fucked up. Lane Johnson's out. Huge right tackle for them. They lost another guy, one of their starter, I think Sweater or whatever, on defense. So that's another big loss for them. So they're banged up. So if the Giants and the Eagles are the top team, it's really them and San Fran that that you kind of worry about. Obviously, they're the top two seeds. I would love for them to knock the Eagles back to a wild card where they have to play. I understand Dallas gets the bye or whatever. I don't give a shit about them. They don't worry me. Dak Prescott don't worry me. So you could have the Eagles play the very next week too, while we got Minnesota, where I think we could actually pretty win dominantly. I would actually love for the Eagles to have to play that game and, them to get another wild card game. So don't make it any easier for them. And, the Giants, I like having them to be still in it. They're still riding the wave, still riding high. Obviously, I don't want Barkley to have 50 fucking
30,
touches.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you want to have him, you want to give these guys a little bit of a, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You don't want to go crazy over this game. If they win,
right.
They win. That's fantastic. I would love nothing like that. But I mean, right now they open up a 14-point underdogs, which is wild to me. So listen, I'm all about them playing, man. No doubt.
Yeah, I think the 14 points is more of like Vegas thinking that the Eagles has nothing to play for, the Giants don't, so they're going to be resting players, so it's just going to be a fucking, cakewalk for the Eagles.
Yeah.
And a part of me understands that, and I don't know that somebody comes around and Jones and Saquon, all these guys are listed as inactive, and I'm going to say, okay, that's what they felt was the best thing to do for the team, and let's just hope that it works out. And then if they decide that they're all playing and they're all going for it, I do hope, like you said, Barkley isn't getting 30, 35 touches, even 25 touches, maybe even 20 touches, and like maybe play the first half and then fucking rest, or just really give like give a equal share between Gary Brightwell and Matt Breida and Saquon Barkley. Like, we don't need this game. There's nothing to be gained other than that juice that I was talking about a couple minutes ago. But it's not. I don't. You don't need to run the guys into the ground for no reason either. There's probably a happy medium somewhere. But Mike, just the fact that we're having this conversation right now, how fucking awesome is that, bro?
It's been a long time.
We've done 80 something episodes already, and this is the first time we've been able to have a conversation like this where not only are we a playoff team, we're a playoff team where there's people in the NFL world that think the Giants might be a team you don't want to fuck around with right now. Not only are they getting better, but they're also getting healthier too. Now you got Aziz that came back this week, which the game ended up being a blowout. He only played like I think 7% of the snaps or whatever it was. He played very, very little, but by the second quarter it was a blowout already. There was no reason to take a guy who's on the mend and keep running him out there. It just wasn't a reason for it. So it's just wild, bro. Like the amount of shit that we've sat on this podcast, the amount of time we spent arguing with these fucking haters online, and like now to be sitting here 9-6-1 with a hot hands going into the playoffs, just feels so fucking good, bro. Like this is what sports are about. This is why we invest our time in this.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it was definitely brings a smile to my face. And I just, I'm so excited. I can't wait for the game. And I was just thinking before, like, can you imagine we go to the Super Bowl? I think
that we're gonna get to the NFC Championship game, bro.
Can you imagine?
I think we're gonna go to the NFC Championship.
Like, what will these haters do? Like, will they just continue to be assholes, or will they just come around and the whole Giant fan base would just come around and be like, I was wrong. I love him now. Like, yeah, I want to hear that. I don't think it'll happen for everybody. And trust me, I'll find those motherfuckers, and I'll, Chad Powers will tweet them out, and he will go after them in a week or two. But man, imagine they really go to that. I remember in like 2011 when that Giants, had the improbable run, because remember, our team was like last in defense. Our offense wasn't that great. Eli Manning carried us. And I mean, Eli just, he lit up like, Atlanta. He lit up like to go into San Francisco. And San Francisco was nasty. Hardball run team. They were fucking nasty. Their defense was sick. And I remember just like taking my hand when Eli hit Manning in the end zone, when he jumped up and catch that fucking touchdown. I started banging the floor of my head. I was just like, can you fucking believe this shit? And that's how I want to feel come next Sunday or Saturday or Monday, whatever the hell we play that first wild card game. Dude, I'm so fucking hyped. It's beyond words, man. I can't even like get the words out how happy I am to just be like, man, the Giants are, I get all my fucking blue gear on, go fucking crazy. I might paint my face blue. I'll be like a fucking blue man group and shit. I'll start beating the drums. I'll get paint all over the fucking place. I'm excited, man. I'm fucking pumped for this shit, man. We deserve it. We definitely deserve it.
We definitely deserve it, bro. People are excited too, man. I do in-home sales, so I drive around New Jersey all the time. And today I happened to take notice. I was driving through Westfield, and like there's a little town there, and people walking their dogs, this and that. And I counted like 3 different people wearing Giants gear, bro. And trust me, that is an incredibly high fucking rate, because for years you haven't seen people proudly wear fucking blue like that. If you had it in your closet, great, but only the diehards ever really rock the colors fucking when the season's the season's down. It's the fair weather's out now with all their Giants gear, but man, that's fine. Just the more the merrier, right around. That stadium was rocking. They were chanting fucking the entire time, bro. Like I said, it was a party. And we've all waited a long time. And some of us have been positive and defended the Giants. Some of us have reveled in their misery as Giants fans, which they don't deserve what's going on right now. But you know what? They know in their heart of hearts that they fucking were haters the entire time, and they can't just fucking they're not enjoying this the way we're enjoying this. You know what I mean? Like they get it. They're having fun, and it's fun to cheer for the team and stuff. But we're happy in our hearts and our souls for these players. These guys aren't. These guys are just happy that their team is in the playoffs. We're happy because our players and the guys that we've rooted for and invested our fucking emotions and time into, we're happy for them. So we get to be happier on a different level than these motherfuckers. But you see guys like Dave Rothenberg on ESPN. You see guys like fucking, Dan Schneier is fucking one of those other assholes that just took every opportunity he could to fucking take a blow at Daniel Jones.
Oh my God,
he's come around. Dave Rothenberg was like today on fucking his show in the morning. It's at this point we got to give Daniel Jones his flowers. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm going to say a lot of stuff. Some stuff's going to be right. Some stuff's going to be wrong. And I was wrong on Daniel Jones. And you just sit there and you're like, you're fucking right, baby.
Yeah.
And we get to enjoy this shit now. We get to enjoy fucking watching what happens to the Eagles. We get to enjoy hopefully going up to Minnesota. Or I don't want to call the devil. Like whoever we end up playing, I just want us to go out there and win. And I think we will. I think the Giants are just a hot team, and that's most of the time who makes deep in the playoffs isn't always the best teams, bro, on the roster, on paper. It's usually the team that's playing the best football going into the playoffs. And right now, there's not many teams playing hotter than the Giants.
It's amazing that we're one of them. It really, truly is.
You got to think, like, even if you look at the record, say, okay, we've only really, won 2 of the last 3 games. It's not like we're on a big game high winning streak. Bro, that fucking Vikings game, we should have fucking won. And
Giants family is just out of control, happy, excited about this. I can't wait to the actually playoff game. It's going to be here before we know it. We got one more week. And, I do got to shout out the offensive line, too. The way the offensive line's been playing is just absolutely tremendous this last game, especially. It seems like these guys are picking up their protections. They're getting it. It looks like Evan Neal just had like a monster game. The rookie dominated. It seemed like the whole team was just fired up, ready to dominate. Listen, I know they played the Colts. I get all that. But the Colts are still an NFL team. But the way they manhandle them is just really impressive, remarkable. Very excited for that. Even Feliciano, I know he gets knocked, a lot of times by some people on Giants. Oh, stop holding this and that. Darnay Holmes, too, stop the holding calls. But listen, it is what it is. It's football, man. We're going to get holding penalties, come playoff time. There's going to be some bad calls. There's going to be some good calls. We Giants, they might turn the ball over. We just can't get all disappointed that the Giants might turn the ball over in a big game like that. But things are going to happen like that. It's playoffs. We're going to go back and forth. So just, nice shout out with the offensive line. With that performance, I'm glad they're gelling at the right time. I'm glad they're all healthy at the right time. And to shout out, the guy we defended for a long time, the previous GM was Dave Gettleman. And I have to give him credit.
Ghetto Goons, baby.
People don't want to hear it. I mean, some people don't want to hear it. Other people were like, yeah, I get it, Mike. Or I get it, Chad Powers. But listen, I named all, you guys know the names he drafted, okay? I put that list out there. Those guys are contributing to this team big time, okay? I mean, he did find us a franchise quarterback, a franchise running back, and a franchise left tackle, and pretty much a franchise safety. If McKinney don't get hurt, McKinney is a guy that just makes that defense absolutely complete. A total difference between night and day when he's on that field, man, because he's the captain back there. He's the one calling the defensive plays. He's in pretty much every play, even with a banged up hand. If you see his Instagram picture with his hand, like all those fingers that were just fucking broken in half, pretty much, it was fucking scary to see. So shout out to Dave Gettleman. I know people come after me. Oh, but he signed Nate Soldier. He signed Kenny Golladay. Like, listen, all of Giants Twitter was happy when Kenny Golladay got signed. Finally, he got a wide receiver. I was happy about it.
Celebration, bro.
Not our fault he got the bag and just decided to quit football. People, hated the Nate Soldier, but he signed Nate Soldier for, the contract. I'm like, well, he was the best free agent available at the time after Norwell went down to Florida to get, state taxes off when he signed with Jacksonville. So he was the next best guy available. And I tell you what, John, like, were we going to go into the next season with Eric Flowers as our fucking starting left tackle for a third consecutive season because Jerry Reese didn't fucking decide to go Andrew Whitworth and sign him, but instead keep Flowers? Of course, he had to do something. So anything when Dave Gettleman took over this team back then, years ago, right, in 2018, we did not have any young talent. Today, we have a lot of young talent. You have to admit it. I understand he traded away OBJ, your favorite player. You guys got to get over because we got Sexy Dexy as part of that trade. And O'Shane and Zimenez. Don't forget him because he's been part of the rotation here and there. And he's only going to get better too. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Just the pieces. We had to wait a while. It sucked. Okay. I don't want to hear about the 19-46 record during his time. It took a while because he needed the drafts. He needed to make it happen. And we got guys that are contributing now. We have a young team. And with Joe's guys that he's getting here now, it's only going to get better. So thank God, man.
Bro, I mean, I don't know if you're being honest with yourself. I don't know how you could look back at Dave Gettleman and say that he was a net negative for the team. Sure, it sucked that we couldn't get the right coach in here to kind of, maximize the talent on the roster. But you see what Daniel Jones looks like. You see what Saquon does. I mean, let's just run through a quick list, and I'm going to probably break a dozen and a half players. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, Nick Gates, right? Darius Slayton, Julian Love, Xavier McKinney, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Azeez Ojulari, Adoree Jackson. Where are we without these players?
Ben Bredesen.
Where are we without these players?
Did you say Gano? That just kicks everything in fucking in the goddamn world?
Where are we without these players?
I don't know.
Where are we if we took Sam Darnold? Where are we if we took Zach Wilson? Where are we if we took Baker Mayfield? Where are we if we traded away Saquon Barkley and got Quentin Nelson? We'd have one good offensive line in the Navy. Where are we? No star running back, no quarterback, just, we have a really good guard. Ask the Colts right now if they care about fucking having a good guard right now. Colts fans.
For real.
That's a dozen players right there that are all starters and main contributors. And let's face it, they are the reason why we're celebrating going to the playoffs. Thibodeau's been good, but Thibodeau's been good the last 4 or 5, 6 weeks. He's not the reason we're going to the playoffs. Daniel Jones is the reason we're going to the playoffs. Saquon Barkley is the reason we're going to the playoffs. Andrew Thomas is the reason why we're going to the playoffs. Evan Neal's been good.
Right.
He hasn't been great. He's not the reason we're going to the playoffs. It's the guys that Dave Gettleman drafted he got eviscerated every single year.
He definitely wasn't the worst GM. People continue to say that. Even like with Chad Powers tweeting it out this past week, I still had people say, "Oh, he was still the worst GM." Or I'm like, dude, you have no clue what you're talking about. It just sucks that the way it went down. You people don't even remember the injury-plagued seasons we had the past couple of years. Don't forget, there were one win during Joe Judge's tenure of going to the playoffs if fucking Jalen Hurts played the whole game in Philly. So you can't forget about that either. Thank God now Doug Peterson actually did pull him, because if they made the playoffs, maybe we don't go in another direction. You know what I mean? So it actually worked out in our favor. But yeah, we got to put that to bed, that Gettleman's the worst GM. He wasn't. He made some good moves as GM, whether you like it or not. It all, like I continue to say, it all stems from, him trading OBJ. Okay. Listen, I was mad at the time too. But then, after you realize that you get guys like Dexter Lawrence, and you get rid of that injury-plagued wide receiver that's, you know what I mean? We didn't need him anymore. We had him for his prime. You know what I mean? I would love for him to come back next year and be that guy that could go over the middle, move the chains, get first downs. Hey, I would love that. But apparently he wants a lot of money, and that's what turned down the Dallas Cowboys, the Giants. He wanted like big money. So we got to see where that comes around next season. We'll talk about that more in the off season, but you just got to give credit to where credit is due. And I'm glad, like, all the shit that I've gotten from not just social media, but from friends of mine, that's like, Gettleman sucks, this and that. I'm like, you got to pay attention to what he did, the pieces that he got here. Now you're starting to see it. Because don't forget, draft picks, they usually take a couple, 2-3 years to get going, to be that guy. So now we're starting to see everybody. I'm like, Dexter Lawrence, Jesus. Remember, people were only calling him a 2-down fucking player.
Yep.
Now he's just a dominating fucking force. It's like Aaron Donald, man, the way he's fucking playing. It's fucking absolutely nuts with him, Leo, Aziz,
Kayvon,
bro. What's his name? The guy that comes in the rotation. I can't believe
Jahad Ward.
Jahad Ward. Like, I can't believe I almost forget Jahad Ward.
Zimenez also making plays.
Jahad Ward, he went on Instagram. He's like, they were partying in the locker room. He's like, where's the liquor? Where's the liquor? Give me the liquor. Like, he went nuts, man. These guys are just, I think K Tibbs was right, man. He's like, when other teams say they're family, he's like, nah. He's like, we're family. I'm like, I think they really are, man. This team is close. They have each other's back. And I tell you, when you have that and you have that culture, sky's the limit, man.
You have all these young players, bro, and you have an opportunity now where you can cash in on house money, making some kind of a playoff run this year. And then you go into the offseason having an immense amount of salary cap, draft picks, where this team, if you're able to bring everybody back that matters, all you need, look at the way the offensive line's been playing right now. I don't even know if I care about getting another offensive lineman in here. If they can play the way they played this week continuously, where Saquon Barkley had fucking holes to run through constantly, it was running fucking 7, 8 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, like every time he wanted to. Every time they needed him to make a play, he made a play. Like if you're able to just impose your will in the running game, and you're able to have the quarterback's able to have time to throw the ball, that's what you need from an offensive lineman. That's it, and we have that right now. So you're able to go in there and get a decent cornerback too. You're able to get a middle linebacker that can be a net positive, and maybe in a wide receiver, bro, a real wide receiver one. You have 3 fucking holes, and from there you have as a completed team as the NFC has to offer. Period. Stop.
Yeah.
How many better quarterbacks are there in the NFC right now than Daniel Jones? Like, who would you take? Maybe Jalen Hurts if you're not unbiased against the Eagles. Like, who knows what he really is. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are both fucking on their way out. You're not going to building a franchise around them right now.
No.
Who else is it? Jimmy G?
No.
Who are you taking? Definitely not Baker. Definitely not Sammy.
That's a good question, man. I don't
think.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones very well is a top 3 NFC quarterback right now, and you're taking Kyler over him right now? No. Who are you taking over him? You're just not. Geno Smith? No. And Matt Stafford right now? No. Like, you're not taking any of these guys over Daniel Jones.
No fucking way. What he's done with less is just remarkable, man.
It's remarkable. You look at all the stats of all the players that have better stats than him, and you see what they have on their team at the wide receiver position or at the tight end position, and you just say that's the reason why we don't have guys that are just making plays above the X's and O's, and that's where all that meat's coming from. We have a quarterback that's able to get the ball to the guy, and the guy's able to do a little bit to get open and get him, get a catch. But it's catch and tackle. That's all it is. They're not making guys miss and fucking running down the seam for fucking 60-yard touchdowns. That just does not happen at all. Like I said, when was the last time you saw a Giants wide receiver on an ESPN top 10 play? 2016.
Yeah, for
right. What else? So
6 years.
So yeah, man, it's exciting, bro, because you got a really good team. You got a unified team. You got a family, like you were saying. You have a few holes left. So, with a team that the average age is like 24 years old for the players that matter, that means you got a really bright next 4, 5, 6 years, as long as you can manage the cap and make sure these players stay together, bro.
Yeah.
Like they're forging something special over there in East Rutherford, bro. And it's fun to like witness from the ground up the team be built by Gettleman and be revised by Shane and company, and seeing now sitting here on January 3rd or whatever the fuck date it is, and seeing the fruits of all that fucking hard work kind of come to fruition. It's awesome. It's really fucking awesome.
Well, hopefully when the playoffs start, we got to root for the number 7 seed to make it, so the Giants could figure out a way to get a home game at MetLife, because that shit would be fucking insane. But next week, we got to take care of the Eagles first. Hopefully, we'll knock them into the wild card rounds. Guys, thanks for listening on this crazy NFL week. Like and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on the BBO NYG podcast on Twitter, Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel. Follow us on there.
Yeah.
Shirts are coming. We had a little bit delay on the shirts, guys. I wanted to get some nice shirts made up, but they can't make it on the Under Armour shirts, so we got to go with regular cotton. So I'm gonna fucking order them, and they'll be on. So until next week, we'll see you. We'll see you next week, guys. And like we said, to open up the podcast, DeMar Hamlin, get healthy, buddy. We'll hopefully prayers are with you. Just get up, man. Get up. We're all rooting for you, kid. And with that, we out, man. Peace. Go Giants.
Go Giants.